96.3 FM, The Source.
After 9 o'clock, I don't know what time is the beginning of spring, but today is the first day of spring, and so gardening is obviously something we like to talk about in the springtime. And but we have a big rain thing coming today. Carol Ann is going to make sense out of all of it.
Try.
Carol Ann Baldwin is here to answer your questions about your lawns, your gardens, your mulch, your rain. Your rainwater?
Everything you got.
Good morning, Carol Ann. How
Good
you
morning,
doing?
Larry. Real good, real good. Actually, the spring begins at, I'm probably off by a little bit, but it's around like 12:30 this afternoon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
I heard that the other day.
So technically it's still winter.
It's still winter until after lunch today. So
Oh, wow.
If you take an early lunch if you take a late lunch, yeah.
Did you
You'll
hear
really
that
get
they
the
had
spring.
hail in Alabama the size of baseballs?
Yeah.
That's hard to believe.
That's big hail.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've got some severe weather coming. Be careful out there. But you will find probably in a few days how much greener your lawn looks, how much greener your plants look.
It's
just
springtime.
like not just the springtime, but that rainwater. We've talked about it for
helps.
years.
Yeah.
It's just there's been lightning, there's been thunder, there's and the ionization of that water as it's coming down, and just the nutrients in the rainwater itself, it does way more
Really?
for your lawn and the rest of it than any fertilizer.
So I had a spurt of energy the other day.
Okay.
And I thought, I'll use that to cut the grass.
Okay.
I went outside and I said, it doesn't really need to be cut, but a lot of things need to be trimmed. I had like my palm thing that grows.
Yeah, get all the dead things off of
my
it.
gosh. So I used that time to do that.
Yeah.
And
And now that we've had a nice rain, or we'll have and more rain, I think we had a little better than 3/4 of an inch yesterday, depending on where you're at. Obviously, you probably may have had more or less. And they're expecting another almost inch and a half, I think, today.
Is that right?
Throughout
Wow.
throughout the county, and what is it? They're saying between 11 and 5 is our really bad time period, is what I've heard. And so, that rainwater is just we'll have washed a lot of that pollen off the trees. And I mean, even just looking out here from, here at the Paddock Mall across the way there, the little green area, little planted area, the trees themselves just look a little greener. And that's because they've had the dust washed off of them.
yeah, right.
You need,
Right.
those little sprinkles of rain just leave spots, just like on your windows, on your car. You come out after a sprinkle of rain, all you have is spots.
Right.
After a hard rain, usually all of that is washed off because it has enough, the quantity of rain has rinsed it all off.
Okay. Do I give you at least one dumb question a week?
I guess.
I think this is a dumb one. All right,
okay.
so I told you I had a spurt of energy. Well, one of the
Right.
things I did was I cut the ugly stuff off of the banana plant,
Okay.
including
Okay.
one of the banana stalks, which had been blown down in one of the windstorms.
Okay.
Was completely at a 45-degree angle,
just
maybe?
right, yeah.
Okay, so or maybe closer to the
Right,
ground than that.
right.
Okay, so I cut it off way toward the bottom.
Okay.
Now,
Is it sprouting
it's
up?
starting to grow.
Yeah.
And it's pointing in that same direction. Will it eventually go straight up? Will nature take it up?
It should.
It's not
would
gonna
think,
grow on that angle,
and
is it?
grow on that angle. Yeah. It might try to, but I would think
Really?
that the sun is going to try to, that it's just going to try to reach for the sun once it starts, actually getting
that's
some
amazing,
size to
isn't
it.
it?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it'll be able to right itself completely, just because that trunk itself has probably pulled a little bit.
Yeah.
And so, but I wouldn't worry about it.
No, I'm not
big deal.
worried.
Yeah, I know.
You know me.
I know. It's just whatever. You could just cleaned up some of the ugly.
I worry some about some things.
Right. When the neighbor comes by going, hey, I'll trim this for you. Then it's, oh, okay, thank you. Now you're not worried about it anymore.
Yeah.
But, that's fine. It'll
all
be
those
all right.
all those ugly things that you don't want to cut the whole thing down because it's like ugly things hanging on a banana plant.
Right.
So
The leaves and like you said, the spent flower stalk and that. So.
And the palm thing that I cut, by the way, with it being cut, now a lot more sun is hitting that rose bush I got.
Oh, okay.
So I'm thinking
so you should be getting some more. Oh, yeah,
right?
for your roses. Oh,
Yeah.
certainly.
Yeah.
It'll be a benefit for them.
So yeah,
That's for sure.
I have to post more photos of it.
Of those, yeah. Hey, I don't post enough pictures either, but because I forget to take pictures
And with that
sometimes.
said, everybody's invited to post garden-related photos, right?
Yeah, gardening-related photos, photos to accompany a question or anything. And don't think of it as a stupid question or anything, because sometimes, I may not always have an answer, or somebody else will get an answer for you before I even do. But yeah, there's never a stupid question because you learn from it.
I'm going to your site right
so
now.
it's
let's see what's new. I haven't looked at it.
not too much. I mean, just the post. Yeah, I always try to remind everybody about the show coming.
Last week's show. So that's something also for your listeners to know, that if you ever miss a show or you'd prefer to watch the show,
right?
We do videotape these and we post them up on Carol Ann's website. Facebook
the Facebook page now. Yeah. So
and the Facebook is called In the Garden.
Right, and all you have to do, it is a closed group only because it's it kind of protects everybody from having sales things and all of that stuff on there. But if you have a garden club you belong to and they're having an event or something like that, don't be afraid to post that too. I mean, that's something that would be related, or if you want to ask, if you can, but just ask to join up. Usually, I'm going to tell you.
Can you answer a question?
I can try.
What is the difference between hay and straw?
Hay is what we would feed an animal. It's more of the grassy portion.
Hay is the feed.
Hay is the feed. Straw is the bedding.
Okay, and are they different plants or something? Different grass?
It's a different part of the plant usually.
Is one wrapped up in a?
No, the bale shape doesn't matter on that.
Oh, some of them can be round and some of them are square?
And some can be square, yeah. Usually straw is going to be bales only because it's used for bedding. And the straw bale gardening, and I heard, I've had the book on that. To me, here in Florida, that's a really expensive venture.
So if I'm driving down the road and I see a big rolled up thing, a whole bunch of them on a field.
That's hay. You don't want that. It's going to sprout.
No. But I want to show off to my friend in the car.
Oh, okay.
And I say, there's a bale of hay.
Hay, right.
And I'm right?
Hay. Yes.
So even though it's not a bale.
Right. The round is still a bale. It's just a round bale. It has been baled up. It has been... Bale is a process.
All right. I know this
as
is
well. It's an what is that? It's a it's a verb to bale. Is
it a bale of straw also?
Yes, if it's a square, and we have bales of pine straw. Also, if you're going to use it for mulch in your gardens and things. So yeah, it's the action and the creation of what you've made.
I'm from I live in horse country. I want to make sure that if I'm driving with somebody who's not from here, I go. Right. There's a bale of hay right there.
Well, but anybody else? I mean, even if you're not in horse country, I mean, there's cows. If people have cattle, they use the hay that same way. But yeah, the straw bale, straw bale gardening for us, I think, is an expensive venture.
Sorry, I didn't tell you how to phone call. You do have a phone call. By the way, the phone lines are open if you'd like to call in. The number is 622-9622, and you have a call. Thank you for waiting. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Morning, Seti.
Sonny calling.
Yeah.
One time while I was working, I had to give a little talk to a bunch of other co-workers. Mm-hmm. And I was talking, and then I asked a question, and it was total silence. So what I told them, I said, guys, there's no such thing as a stupid question, only a stupid answer. Yeah. And that really, broke it loose.
Yeah, it's or the question, it's not necessarily a stupid question, it's a question you may have, and if you don't ask it, somebody else is probably thinking the same question. Yeah, there's a good chance. So never be afraid to ask a question.
Oh my God!
Well, that's that's the one thing that you can. As far as I'm concerned, there is no thing as a stupid question.
Right.
The answer that could be stupid.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, or goofy or silly even. Yeah. So, that's very true.
My other point is my grass is a real nice, even-colored brown.
Oh.
With this crazy weather we've had.
Sure.
And I'm just wondering now, it's getting a little late. Should I think about putting something down now or wait until it greens up a little bit?
I'd give it, wait till after this rain event. If you've not fertilized yet, after this rain event, go ahead and put your fertilizer down. Yeah, it's not too late yet. Normally we don't recommend fertilization to begin on our lawns until between the 15th of March and the 30th, because that's when the grass is naturally coming up out of its winter dormancy. So it's perfectly normal for a grass to be brown or struggling. It normally has not even needed to be actually mowed yet. And so
last year at this time, it was all green and I was mowing already. Mm-hmm. But
we had a cold February. We had a cold February and a warmer March. This year we had that warm February, and then March became much more like February, but seasonal weather. I mean, our cold weather, winter is winter. You expect that seasonal temperatures down into the 40s. Well, with us, unfortunately, we got down in there. That was January in that 26s and things like that. That really put the turf into a true dormancy. But yeah, with this nice rain we've had some nice, a little bit of warmer weather this past week. It's going to be a little cool here towards the end of the week, but not anything truly unseasonable. Right. Maybe a couple degrees cooler than what the norm would be. But I would go ahead and put the fertilizer down after this rain, after like today.
Right. Well, thank you again for what you do, and thank you for being on the radio with Larry. And
it's my pleasure to be here.
WOCA. Have a great day, everybody.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
And my pleasure to be here.
Sorry, you do have another phone call.
Okay.
That's what that was. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, gang.
Morning.
Love your show.
Thanks.
Larry, I'm a horse person here. And as far as your friends go, there's generally two types of bales, a round bale and what they call a rectangular bale, or square bale, I should say.
Yeah.
Now, there's really nothing square about a square bale.
No, they're very rectangular.
In every dimension.
Right.
But it's what they call a square bale just because they always have.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And that could be, those bales could be any type of different grasses. Different horse people will feed different feeds depending on the horse and depending on what they're using the horse for,
right,
and depending on the horse's health. That bale could be alfalfa, it could be timothy, it could be rye, it could be coastal. Up north they have different grasses that are fescues and clover and things like that, or a mix of all of the above.
Right.
But generally speaking, a horse is very, very fussy about what it'll eat. It'll have to be fairly fresh. It'd have to be hay that has stayed dry. Whereas a cow will eat just about anything because it has cast iron stomach and digestive much more tolerant. But so if you see a bale that's real fresh, that could be a horse-fed bale. But if it's had any weather on it at all, if you can see any rot or anything like that on it, a horse wouldn't eat it. It would have to be either used for construction or for a cow or something like that, with a little more tolerant.
Right.
All right, thank you. That's a lot of information. The other thing is you can...
And if you're wondering about why Ocala is the horse capital of the world, it's because of the selenium that comes up in the grass as a result of having a limestone base.
Yeah.
So our hay is more valuable than somebody else's hay. You would think.
The thing is that you typically wouldn't bale the what's the type of grass that I'm getting a blank now. Help me out, Carol Ann. Where are most of the fields that we have around here?
The Bahia?
Bahia, yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't bale the Bahia, and that's the type of grass that the selenium comes up from, because
Right, they just-
selenium
right, they
is
just
critical
pasture.
for growth of the colts,
Right.
bones. And in other parts of the world, you would have to feed that as a supplement in your grain, which costs you money, and it's also not a natural supplement. So
Right, and so
That's why-
they can graze the Bahia in our pastures, and that's why you get a lot of them that'll actually bring
Wow.
the younger horses, or that they'll winter them here so that they can, well, one, the nicer weather, but that they can graze those fields, those pastures.
That is interesting. I never knew all that stuff. Wow, that's good stuff.
yeah, they get that natural selenium up through the Bahia.
Let's hope I remember it.
Yeah.
This is the
a little
problem
piece of
with
trivia.
me learning anything.
You push another piece of trivia out.
You're a very bright guy, you being honest.
Hey,
But thanks for everything you do. It's always a pleasure talking with you.
Thank
All
you.
right, thanks.
Thank you for calling in.
Yeah.
So did you ever hear that on the spring equinox at 12:15? By the way,
Okay,
you were right.
okay.
You were right. I looked it up. That you can balance something like an egg.
They always used to say that, but I don't think it's actually, you'd be able to balance a raw egg on its end, standing it
What?
on, raw egg, because somehow that the yolk and everything would balance, but I don't.
Because of the perfect gravitational
right,
pull?
right, that
That's what it
kind of
said.
thing, yeah.
That's what it said in the article.
I don't know if that's actually, I mean, it's just,
I'll try it at 12:15.
but you got to be exactly on time, because otherwise it won't work.
Well, that's it. Yeah, and it said a broomstick too. I don't know. I mean, that's hard to
Because
believe.
broomstick is round on the bottom, how
and it'll balance perfectly at 12:15
but I guess
today.
there's nothing, if there's nothing on top of it.
I don't
guess.
understand. I don't believe that.
It would not be able to have anything on top
That's
of
like
it.
that's like the groundhog shadow thing. All right, let's go to the phone. Good morning. Thank you for calling. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning. I've got some Darrell pepper plants that are probably about 3 feet tall or so
Nice.
in pots, and I don't want them to get great big and tall. I want them to be bushy.
Okay.
Is it safe to trim off the tops of them and keep them from getting really, really tall?
You could clip the top out of them, and they should branch out for you.
Okay,
they
because
should
I
get-
want them to be bushier rather than
Then tall and
tall.
skinny, right? Then tall and skinny, right.
I didn't know if it would harm the plant.
It shouldn't. It might set back a little bit of production, so you might want to. Are they just really right now just a single stem, or is there a little bit of branching? Has that started yet?
It's sort of still single.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I would just the very middle of the top, just clip that out and see, where you start to get the other growth. And as it starts to put on some side branching, after that you might just be selective on how much of that you pinch, just so that you get good production still.
Okay.
Alrighty?
When it does, I'll make you some good hot sauce.
Oh yeah, Daddle hot sauce
Oh,
is so
yeah.
good. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks.
Bye.
Yep, bye-bye.
So real quickly, I was looking at the Weather Channel map. You can see it
Yeah.
right here, Carol Ann. So that the swath of rain is what they're saying is going to happen
Yes.
around 2 p.m.
Okay, they're calling for 2, because I know they were saying the worst weather was between 11 and 5, so it was
Oh, okay,
about a
okay.
6-hour period that you really need to be aware that there'll be rains, possibly high winds.
See, this is what they're showing right here. Like, this is the future.
Yeah.
You know how you can do
Right,
it.
right.
So that's getting up to
So
2.
they're
And then when
coming,
it
yeah.
gets to 2,
Is looking like
Right.
it really gets to be a much larger
yeah.
batch of rain. Yeah.
Gosh,
So just, be careful out there. And,
I don't want to see hail the size of baseballs,
no.
but it would be cool to see hail, just normal hail, wouldn't it?
Oh, I mean, we get hail here occasionally,
does that
but
normally-
that stuff hurts.
Does it mean tornado, though? Is hail?
I mean,
norm-
it's just, it can be one of those kind of things that comes in with it. Just that severe weather, that whole mix-up of temperatures and things like that.
All right, real quickly,
really-
I'm going to throw in another possibly stupid question. All right.
Okay.
So a bird, I park under the tree here at the moment.
Oh, okay. Right.
Quite often I have bird crap
Yep.
on my car. Okay.
Yep.
Do you know what's funny? My head said droppings and my mouth said crap. Isn't that weird? I was going to
try to be nice about it, polite about
but
it.
Crap came out anyway. It just came out. So anyway, when it dries on the car, not all of it, but some of it has seeds in it. I mean, like undigested seeds.
Yeah.
So in the real world,
in the wild, if that would have been dirt that it dropped on,
right? That would grow into something.
And pre-fertilized. That's the issue when people talk about exotic species. Exotic species does not necessarily mean it's from some far tropical place. Exotic species, when it comes to plants and things like that, means it's not native. That's all that means. It was brought in after that time period. It can be anything, and many exotic species are very clean, tidy, innocuous. Is innocuous the word? I'm not sure. That's probably not the right word. But they stay put. They don't spread. They don't carry. They don't. They just stay where they're planted. Other species can be invasive, and they're not necessarily invasive just on their own, that they go creeping out. I mean, that they would slowly move out on their own. But birds and other wildlife consume these berries, the berry part of the fruit, and then they walk off, fly off, crawl off, wherever they go, and then with their excrement comes a seed being planted.
Amazing,
and
really?
Automatically fertilized, to put it politely. And that's where the problems become. I mean, I was telling somebody about a tree the other day, and they Googled it. It was the Chinese tallow. It's a beautiful tree. They grew wonderfully here. And somebody goes, "Oh my God, I want one of those." I said, "Hey, you can't buy one. You would have to, if there's one growing near you, you are supposed to cut them down and eradicate them, because birds will consume the berry and drop the seed wherever they drop and plant another tree, and they do successfully grow. The golden rain tree is another tree. We always say they rain trees. And eventually those trees start, that area, you have one tree. It's fine that you mow underneath it and cut them all off where you have them, but what happens when the bird eats the seed, or it carries off on the back of a squirrel that's been in that tree and goes and plants it somewhere else in a non manicured area, and so it continues to grow and spread, damaging or replacing natural plants, natural flora in the setting. So that's where we have our problems on the with invasive species.
Can we do a first? We've never done this before.
Okay.
There's a video that somebody just posted on your Facebook page.
Okay.
And I'm going to play it with the sound, because I don't know that the visual explains everything. Can you see it okay?
Yeah, I can bring it up. I can actually
grab it on let me play it, because I think she's asking for help.
Yeah, it looks like like something's eating up the
Katie. Her name is Katie. Okay, here we go. Let's see what it sounds like.
So my curiosity is this: what are these little piles after the rain?
That looks. Let me bring it up here a little closer on mine.
Because they are everywhere.
See that on the picture?
Yeah.
She says they're everywhere.
Looks like it's an insect of. I'm thinking an insect of
stuff or something. Can somebody please tell me what they are?
We will see.
There you go. Oh, nice. Yeah. That's a great.
There you go.
So what we'll do is we'll take a little break, and we'll come back, and we'll try to figure out what that is. I just showed Katie. I just showed Carol Ann the video, but she's a little bit of a distance from my monitor, so she's going to look it up on her own monitor, and then when we come back, maybe Carol Ann will have an answer for you. I don't know what that could be. That was a lot. That wasn't worm stuff, because worms make little things. That's huge.
It's.
Yeah, you think it could be? All right, we'll find out on the other side. We'll take a break right now and be right back. Got a whole half hour left of this program called In the Garden with Carol Ann. We'll have more when we come back. If you'd like to be on the air, the number is 352-622-9622. If you'd like to do like Katie did, you can post a picture or even a video like she did, and we'll address it at In the Garden on Facebook.
Fox News Radio, I'm Chris Foster. After 4 bombings in Austin, Texas this month, a package sent from and addressed to Austin explodes at a FedEx plant in Schertz, Texas. A woman's hurt, not seriously.
That package blew up when moving from an upper to a lower conveyor belt just after midnight. A woman who works at that FedEx facility was not hit by the shrapnel, but got a headache from the blast. She is expected to be okay. Police asking people in that area to stay indoors.
Fox's Todd Pyro in Austin. The British government's investigating the political campaign consultants Cambridge Analytica.
The company has been accused of acquiring personal information from 50 million Facebook users in an unauthorized way. The New York Times and Britain's Observer reporting the firm acquired results from a personality quiz which users had been told was for academic research. The Trump campaign says it didn't use Cambridge data. The firm denies wrongdoing.
Fox's Simon Owen in London. Fox News. You report, you decide.
When it comes to hiring, you don't have time to waste. You need to get to a short list of qualified candidates fast. That's why you need Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions based on your job requirements. Then zero in on qualified candidates using our intuitive online dashboard. Your time is precious. Let Indeed help you get to your short list of qualified candidates. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire. Search for greatness. Search Indeed.
Pros in the know start with Lowe's, because Lowe's saves pros money every day. And this week, we're saving pros even more during our Pro Spring Black Friday event. Look for special savings on the tool brands you trust and the building supplies you need. Plus, save 5% on every purchase every day when you use your Lowe's Business Credit Card. So, Pro, now that you know, let's get started. See the Lowe's Pro Desk for more details. Offer subject to credit approval. Can't be combined with other credit offers. Exclusions apply. U.S. only.
If you find an animal or a bird that needs help, call Animus Foundation at 352-843-6379. They will come and get the animal if you can't take it to them. High school students and those with court-ordered community service can earn required hours in this rewarding environment. And veterans who share a bond with animals and parents who have been through mental or physical trauma are especially welcomed. Families, clubs, and tourists can arrange for tours of Animus without driving for hours or miles. Consider volunteering. Animus needs you.
Color is in this week at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens in Ocala, and it starts with roses and more roses. Want a few examples? Gorgeous peach drift roses starting at $17.99. Other fabulous colors like coral, pink, white, or popcorn drift roses, they're just $22.99 in the big number 4 size. Need some color for your porch or patio? Bob Wines has a huge selection of fabulous hanging baskets. Buy one, get a second one for half price. And don't forget azaleas. Nice size dogwood azaleas, just $2.99. And many larger sizes are available at similar low prices. Check out the greenhouse for more great buys at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens. Southeast 38th Street, new superstore hours, daily till 4:30, Saturdays till 3. Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens, homegrown, locally owned, same location since 1952.
Why not serve a delicious, intimate, and very easy dinner from Honey Baked Ham of Ocala? They have about the best ham produced ever, and turkey breast or beef pot roast or pork roast.
I thought they just served whole or half hams or turkeys that you picked up at Thanksgiving or Christmas.
They have so much more. They have a cafe and do all kinds of hot and cold catering. They'll do most of the work while you get all of the credit.
Where are they?
Southwest 27th Avenue, right behind Best Buy. Give them a call at 861-0011. Embark on a magical night at the Appleton Museum of Art on Saturday, April 14th from 6 till 9 p.m. Follow your book of enchantment around the museum for unicorn carriage rides, magic shows, mermaids, artwork that comes to life, and more. Make mythical art in the art space and enjoy refreshments. Family ticket packages start at $35 for museum members and $50 for non-members. Individual tickets also are available. For details and to purchase tickets, visit appletonmuseum.org. In this moment, who has your back? Do you know the name of your insurance agent? Does your agent know your name? Or would you call a 1-800 number that connects you to who? Another state? Another country? Get a local independent insurance agent with Auto Owners Insurance. Someone you can call when bad stuff happens. In this moment, get an agent who will protect you in that moment. Visit George Mangan Insurance in Ocala today at manganinsurance.com.
All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Let's return to Carol Ann Baldwin. The show is called In the Garden with Carol Ann, and you are a part of the show. The way you get on the show is with your telephone. The phone number is 352-622-9622. And the other way you can get on the show is to post something on Carol Ann's Facebook page which is simply in the garden, and ask Carol Ann to be a member if you're not already, and she'll let you in, and then you can post whatever you want as long as you're not selling something.
Right. And doing anything appropriate. It's garden related.
It is garden.
Whatever that kind of thing.
So what's the determination?
To me, it looks like earthworms. Just because we had a heavy rain, we haven't had a lot of rain. It's a good chance it's just simply earthworms come up to the surface because they will leave those little piles of stuff up out of the ground. If it was something else, I'm not thinking mole cricket because I didn't see any little bit of tunnel because they usually present as a small finger-sized tunnel on the surface. They'll come up out of the ground, but I'm not used to seeing anything like that. It could also be either a ground beetle. That would be, a possibility. But usually with something like that, you find a hole more than the pile of the soil, being excavated out of there. So my thought is that it's just simply earthworms.
So is it safe to assume that if you have that many earthworms, that you probably have a healthy lawn?
Soil. You got pretty good soil going on there, a lot of organic material under there. You do have to watch out, though, because then there's other creatures that do like to eat the earthworms. You may find that you end up with moles that love earthworms.
Oh, really?
They like earthworms just as much. Or you'll find the birds. I'm watching the blackbirds here buzzing and flying around. I'm sure they're finding plenty of stuff to eat after this rain. And so you get a good thing, you sometimes get a bad thing to go with it. But.
Can I tell you something? We had a news story the other day. I think it was rats in New York City. I'm not even going to look it up. So I might have the area wrong.
Right, okay.
But they were using dry ice to kill the rats, and the way it worked was that it would just inundate their living area with carbon dioxide, and
they'd suffocate.
Yeah,
right.
Have you heard of this?
I think we mentioned it.
Would
last
that work
week on that.
Did we? Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think with the gopher, they have one that they call gopher gas. That's like a cartridge that you light and you drop down, and I think that works on that same kind of. System kind of thing.
So you don't want somebody eating your worms, because worms are good for your lawn, right?
Worms are good for the lawn and the landscape. They help to decompose organic material, and their frass, is good stuff. I mean, people buy that stuff.
Yeah,
people vermicompost. That's what vermicomposting is composting using worms in tubs on their back step.
That's amazing.
So. It's one of those kind of things to it's a good stuff.
You know your stuff. All right, let's go to the phone. Somebody else wants to tap into your brain. Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Yes. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
See, speaking of worms, up north we had what they call night crawlers, and those little guys get about the size of a small snake, but I've never seen them down here.
Oh, no. I think most of ours are probably red wigglers. But the red wiggler gets to be a pretty good size worm too, and if you go ahead.
Those night crawlers, they get so big that when for fishing, you can take one night crawler and make 3 pieces of it, for walking.
Right.
And they're great bait because they really like to wiggle.
Right. But that's and especially that for fishing, that's and around here you'll find in the bait shops the red wigglers, and I mean you can buy those. You can go to the bait shop and buy yourself the little what is it? I don't know, a 10-ounce cup or something like that. Bring them back and introduce them into your garden or into your compost bins, and they will be a benefit. It's not something that's going to necessarily escape. I mean, you're not going to keep them contained unless you were doing vermicomposting, and you could put some in there too. But adding them into your flower beds and stuff like that after you get everything planted, and you've got a fantastic addition to your to an organic fertilization and composting and aeration in your soil a little bit.
Up north in particular, robins, you see robins, picking the grass for worms, and down here, I've never seen a bird go for a worm.
They do. I mean, they will. I mean, the robins around here seem to eat all the berries, and then you have to watch out if you're hanging sheets out because it's a nice day, because they seem to take aim at things like that. They have a nice big target of that nice fresh clean sheet you hung on the line, and but like right now the little blackbirds are out here just all over the grass and stuff, whether or not they're finding bugs or worms or yeah, you're hoping they're not finding mole crickets and things like that, or grubs that they're after. But they all go after that stuff.
This winter, I didn't see one robin down here. Of course, it's just the first day of spring. But a lot of times in the winter, I'll see in the backyard maybe 20, 30 of them at one time, but not a one this year.
I didn't see a whole lot this year either, but I'm in a little bit different location than I was last spring, so that may be why. Turn my mouse on here. I'm trying to click on something. No, I don't know anybody. I saw some pictures from folks online that they're going, oh, I've got robins and such. I mean, I guess they were here. May just not have been as an extended time, because the weather was warm in February and then we turned cold in March, which is for us different. That's unusual. Usually we have February. And then we are still only in the third week of March here. The first week or two of March might be kind of rough, but after that we usually begin to improve. But February is normally very cold, very rainy. It can be rainy, very cold, very nasty. And then the robins come in a little bit later when all the berries are on the trees, all the pyracantha, the hollies, and things like that, and they just come through and strip those. And
according to the Weather Channel now, our spring down here southeast is supposed to be warmer and drier than normal. So we'll see what happens. A lot of times they say what they say that don't happen, but the projection was for in fact a much above normal a temperature and then dry.
Yeah, and we're low for the year already on moisture, on rain.
Oh, I know. We had a nice 2.25 inch yesterday.
Oh, did you? Okay, because they were saying on the news it was about a little better than 3/4. I think it said like 0.84 inches, so that's a little better than 3/4 of an inch, and that they're expecting another inch and a half today. So depending on where you're at.
Yeah, I had 2.25 in both of my gauges, so it was an accurate reading. I was glad to get it. And a lot of it was a nice kind of a steady rate through for a long time.
Well, that's good. That's good. Always good to to have that easy rain. Now, heavy downpours, all that does is wash off the sidewalk, and it also washes the soils out of your beds and things like that. So, we would rather have an all day long steady rain than those real heavy downpours.
Yeah, well, it also washes the air and gets rid of all that junk that I'm coughing up.
It sure does. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's hope we get a couple more inches today without any violent wind or anything. So at least on the rain part, we're a little bit back to where we should be, I guess.
Yeah. Let's hope we start to. Let's hope that the severe weather stays away from us, away from everybody. I hope everybody stays safe. If there is a warning, let's hope that there's not, and everybody stays safe. That their newly planted things that they've started to put in the garden don't get damaged and things like that. So. Just heads up on that, and don't put anything down. I was trying to tell people yesterday that going, oh, well, I can put such and such down because it's going to rain. I said, yeah, but we don't know how much it's going to rain. And if you'd have put a fertilizer down yesterday, and we get another inch of rain, you've just washed your fertilizer usually away. Away from that root zone, away, possibly down the storm drain, and we don't need it going down there. We have enough problems with our springs and our...
Okay, stay healthy, guys.
All righty.
So, thank you, Hugh. Yeah. Is there anything, like I was thinking you might be able to use a rainy day like this to determine, where the low-lying areas are? Because maybe you want to
to
put
either
soil into a hole, or
you might,
like that?
you might want to figure on a plant that would like those areas that are a little
So
more.
what would you look for? What kind of things?
You would watch if any of the organic material, like some of the dead grasses and things, would wash out of there and down and collect in some of these areas. And it might even be the thing of not necessarily filling them, but you might even say, oh, this is where that lawnmower kept sinking and bogging, that yes, I need to put a little soil in some of those spots, and like that, or planting a rain garden, because this is where where that heavy rain came off the roof down the gutter and goes this direction, and you can see all that litter. Organic litter there going, oh, okay, this is where I can create that garden that won't mind having that extra water when we have heavy rain
if it
events.
pours today, it's an opportunity for you to learn
a little more about your landscape.
Yeah,
right.
Might be something you can benefit from. I remember my neighbor had this spot that always filled with water, and then she finally put dirt. And I don't know if she did it because of the water, or just it was probably a pain for the lawnmower guy.
Right. If it's an area, that's a little lower, because you scalp something usually when that happens. When you.
All right, we are up against the break. I can't believe it. It's just it's flying by today. All right, we'll be right back. If you'd like to call Carol Ann, please call 352-622-9622. We'd love hearing from you. So go ahead and give us a call. We'll be gone for about 2 minutes, and we'll be right back.
Get it for less at the DIY Home Center outlet. Get top quality real wood cabinets the same or less than the big box stores are selling the cheap stuff. And that's not all. Drywall screws big box stores are $6.47 a pound. At DIY, only $4.99. Plus, DIY has the largest selection of mobile home parts and accessories anywhere. From carpet to doors, get the DIY supplies you need for less. The DIY Home Center outlet. We are your building material closeout store. 2191 Northwest 10th Street, just 2 miles east of I-75.
Each morning, we wake up thankful to live in a free nation with liberty and justice for all. But sometimes those liberties can be put in jeopardy, and you may have questions about what to do or who to call. Let Doc Blanchard of Blanchard, Miriam, Adele, and Kirkland help you find the answers. Attorneys at law since 1974 and located in downtown Ocala. If you have legal issues, don't go it alone. Call 352-732-7218. Blanchard, Miriam, Adele, and Kirkland, helping protect your liberties every day.
Are you looking for the absolute best buys for fixing up your yard or garden? Then immediately check out this week's ad or go to bobwinescamelliagardens.net, where you'll see real deals like these. Beautiful blooming Gerber daisies, huge variety of colors, regularly $4.99 for just $2.99. Everybody likes boxwoods, and Bob Wines has them, just $5.99. Bob also has more geraniums than you've ever seen in one place, and you get 10 of these beauties for only $19.99. For more buys, check inside their new completely redone greenhouse, with many items selling for 20% off. And don't forget the trees. Buy one, get a second one for half price. New spring store hours, Bob Wines is open till 4:30 daily, Saturdays till 3. Bob Wines on Southeast 38th Street, away from all the traffic. Bob Wines, homegrown, locally owned, in the same blooming location since 1952.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. On this Tuesday, plenty of clouds, breezy, warm, and humid. A couple of thunderstorms will cross the area this afternoon, some of which can be severe. There's the risk for flooding downpours, large hail, and damaging wind gusts with highs in the upper 70s to mid-80s. Clearing later Tuesday night, breezy, cooler, less humid. The overnight low in the upper 40s to mid-50s. Wednesday will be a windy, cool day with sunshine, high 69 to 73. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Joe Lundberg.
All right, thank you, Joe. I know Joe Lundberg just told you the weather, but I was looking at the weather map here for us specifically.
Right.
And it looks like, again, let me try to find it here. Let's see.
I know the clouds are moving quite a bit right now. Just looking out the window, you get the little patch of blue in behind there. But then you look just behind there, and it's a darker area. So be careful out there. When you're driving, that water on our roads, when it comes down real heavy, it doesn't necessarily come off the roads fast enough.
Yeah.
So when it's raining hard, reduce your speed. Be smart. Turn your lights on. It might be a good idea. And just as something that has nothing to do with gardens, but it does have to do, and maybe when Matt comes in, you can talk to him about this. The newer cars all seem to have automated, running lights. I start my car, I have no lights, but when I put it into drive, I have an ultra low beam that comes on for a headlight. But when I stop my car, put it back in park, that light goes off. I don't believe, and I think I've looked and checked, I don't have tail lights at that time.
Oh, okay.
And so everyone runs on these thinking I have lights, because when it's dusk or anything like that, and you look, you can still see it's bright enough, but it's not headlights. And it's no tail lights, because I've been behind cars, you can't see them, it's raining hard, you're a gray car, and you get up close to, and you, ooh, there's a car there, and you come around them thinking, this moron does not have headlights on, and I pass around him, and I look, and he has headlights, but he has no tail lights because he's running on running lights.
I am guilty of that very thing.
Turn your lights on when it's raining.
I always figure they're on automatically.
No. That's a running light.
Idea.
Unless you have an automatic light setting on, and even then, making sure that you've got tail lights. We all take it for granted.
Just take it for granted that when the headlights are on, the tail lights.
Because of automated lights. Those automated low beam lights started, and it reduces head-on collisions, but it doesn't give you a tail light.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
So I am one of the morons you just referred to.
And it just it makes me crazy, because I normally work early morning. And sometimes it's very foggy. People are running or when it's a little bit brighter in the morning, and it's low light. And there's no tail lights on these cars. And you come around, yes, they're using headlights, but it's the lights that come on automatically when you start your car.
I really didn't know that.
So, turn your headlights on,
Matt,
people.
we got a question for you, Matt. We'll ask you in about 10 minutes.
I'm going to, be a pain on you guys. But it is a good, just one of those things, and I just started noticing it, that unless you're turning the lights on or you have that automatic thing that they come on at certain lighting conditions, I think those turn your tail lights on, but the regular one that just comes on when you start your car,
but the big thing I'm hearing is that I don't know, because I'm listening to you talk and I'm thinking I don't even know.
Well, I'm not sure. Right.
Yeah.
Right, because I can stop my car, pull into a gas station, put my car into park, and boop, those lights go off. Because that's just a running light.
I had no idea.
It helps to reduce head-on collision. But no, before we end the show today, I know we still got a few minutes. We can take a couple calls. We do have a gift certificate for Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens and Nursery to give away, and I'd also like to give away 2 tickets to the Ocala Civic Theater's live on stage, The Foreigner. It's playing from March the 15th through April 8th. It's and I went through it. It looks like it's a comedy.
It is a comedy.
It looks like it's probably pretty funny, based on, and I read this.
A foreigner who he's not really a foreigner, but he's
sort of pretending he is, so that he can just relax and be left alone, and so that he doesn't speak the language, and everybody else he's hearing and seeing, and all the rest of this, and probably try not to die laughing on many of it. But, there's when there's some scandalous news and sinister plans, does he confess or keep up the charade? Laughter requires no translation in this hilarious comedy. So before we leave for the day, we'll just give away 2 tickets. Is it 2 tickets to The Foreigner and the Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens and Nursery.
All right.
Gift certificate.
You do have somebody on the phone.
Fantastic.
Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
How do I get on the running for the 2 Foreigner tickets?
You got them.
I got
them. Oh, good.
Is this Dennis?
Yes, it is.
Dennis, can I ask you, so that we don't have to go to a break and get your information, can you call back in about, it'll be at the top of the hour, after 10? Just then ask for Robin.
All right, should I call back on the other line?
Oh, you could do that right now if you want. Yeah, if you want to call the office line, 732-8000. I think it'll go over to Robin.
732-8000?
Yeah, just tell you won the tickets, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, the only reason I did it that way is because
I don't want to give anything
I'd have to take a commercial break.
Right, to get the info.
We just did a commercial break,
right.
Good morning, you're on the air with Carol Ann.
Yeah, this is Hugh again, real quick. I believe the law requires that if you're running your windshield wipers, your headlights have to be on. I believe that's a law.
It is, but people think with these new modern vehicles, when you turn your car on, you have a headlight, but you don't have tail lights. And
what good is
only when you hit the brakes. But who's driving with their brakes on? You come up with rain coming down, you may have a headlight on, but nobody can see your rear end until you get on top
I had no idea. I have no idea.
I wonder how you can rectify that. I mean,
Turn your lights on.
Then.
Turn your lights on. Actually physically turn them on.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm going to have to check.
That was interesting to find that out. Thank you.
Just go out when you start your car. Now mine, I do have to put it in gear in order for.
Oh, so you can't really get out and look.
I can't get out and look, but I've looked in my mirrors.
Like a reflection, you mean?
Yeah, just I look out my side mirrors, you take your foot off the brake when you're leaving your driveway, and you go, no, there's no tail lights. You turn the lights on, you got tail lights.
I had no idea.
So
you just educated the whole town.
A heads up, because it really does. I mean, how many accidents we have on the roads?
Why don't they tell you that? Why isn't there like a little light on that says?
Please, no. I mean, there's probably something in your manual, but most people pick up that manual,
the
thing, and put it in the glove box, or they put it under the back thing with the spare tire. Yeah, just a nice place to save it for another time if you needed to have something to I don't know, write a note on for somebody. But not too many people read their manual until they absolutely need to. But just one of those things. But with next week, hopefully we will have some nice weather. I know we got a little cooler, drier weather towards the end of this week. If you're needing to fertilize after this rain event, go ahead. If you haven't yet. If you have fertilized, say you did it earlier, in March, or you did it in February just because it was warm and thought you could, you might seem to look like you need a little bolster of something. Stay with something mild, something like a Milorganite, or just even something like a compost across the yard. I'm not a fan of the topsoil across the yard because it contains weeds. But that something like that would just sort of nourish the soil versus putting a fertilizer down. If you haven't done any fertilizer, you can go ahead and do that after this rain event, anytime before the end of the month, and you should be set until about June. And even then, in June, we're going to be a little careful on what we put down, but we'll address that once we get onto that part. And if we mentioned it before, we had Kathy put on a video on the In the Garden page. Use the In the Garden page to ask a question. You can post a picture or whatever. Might make it easier to diagnose the problem or identify a plant.
Right.
If I don't get to it, a lot of times those on the page can get to it faster than I can, which is fantastic too. Any other time that you have any questions that aren't here, you've got the Master Gardener Clinic. They're Monday through Friday from 10 to 4. You can come in with samples, with pictures, anything like that. Ask a question, buy a publication from the Master Gardeners. But you also have the Downtown Farmers Market the first Saturday each month. Master Gardeners are there. Dunellen Public Library, first Tuesday each month. Bellevue Public Library, first and third Fridays from 10 to 1. And I might have to double check, make sure that that's actually correct, because I wrote that down a while back that it was twice. And you have the other events around the county that you can go and see and learn at different times. The 29th, if you're not already signed up, go on to Eventbrite if you're looking to get into mushroom production, to grow your own shiitake mushrooms. Here, and your cost of $65 covers an inoculated log, so that you could actually go home and start your own shiitake mushroom deal.
An inoculated log.
Inoculated log, and I'd love to do it, and I think I have to work. I have to double check, and then see if I can sign up if I'm not. But also on the 21st, which is tomorrow, the Top of the World Master the Possibilities Education Center has their Wild Horticulture Series, Planting for Pollinators. So something else to look into. Extension office number 671-8400.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Thank you for doing this, Carol Ann. For those who don't know, Carol Ann volunteers her time to do this. You have to work today?
I do have to work today.
So look at that. She's volunteering. This is a job. You put a lot of information into this 1 hour every week. Thank you for doing that, and have a good day. Stay safe today. It's going to be rainy, they say.
Oh, I know. I've got my umbrella right now. My raincoat's in the car, and I'm wearing boots. So I should be good.
All right. Well, be careful. All right. we will take a little break. Matt Gibbs coming up next. Auto Repair with Personal Care is the name of his show. We'll be right back with Matt.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Chris Foster. Another explosion in Texas. A package addressed from and to Austin, where 4 bombs have gone off already this month. This one didn't make it there.
The package exploded just after midnight inside a FedEx distribution center in Schertz, Texas, a suburb of San Antonio. The medium-sized box was on a conveyor belt when it went off, hurting a woman who was nearby. Her injuries are not life-threatening.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. 2 people died with others hurt in the earlier explosions.